I'm eating well, I'm exercising, and my faith is strong, and my attitude is positive. I really haven't dealt with any anger or, feeling of frustration to where I blame God for this. I feel like God's plan is perfect, and we'll figure it out as it comes. So day by day, the best is yet to come. Who knows? It's amazing how God has already taken this experience. I mean, when I was in the hospital thinking all things work for the good of those who know God, I had a hard time imagining how he could take that situation and make it into a situation where all things work for the good of him. But it has unfolded before my eyes in such a way that I would have never predicted it. The number of people that have come forward to be a part of this. And I think most profoundly is, when people come to me, they don't know how to react. They hear that I have this terminal brain cancer, and so they come thinking I'm going to be dismayed or discouraged or frustrated and angry, and that's just not the case. I have a very positive attitude, and I have a very strong faith, and I trust in God, and they don't know how to react, and so they're susceptible to understanding where I'm getting this inner strength. And I kind of tell them my story, and I tell them how God has moved in my life, and I tell them how, I trust that whatever happens, I know where I'm going. I know that I'm going to heaven. I have a personal relationship with him. And I feel that those lines of communication have really been opened since this experience began. I mean, I feel like I really understand God much better now, and I feel like he's very close to me these days. And close to me in a sense of directing my life in a daily, finger in your life, not like some broad spectrum, but finger in my life and working in my life every day. And he's just so big. I just am amazed at how big God is and how all-encompassing and how we just can't even understand it. I mean, it's incomprehensible how big God is and how his plans work and unfold. And at some point, you really just have to say, I trust you, God. Let go, let God. And I trust you, and whatever happens, happens. And it's not about being good enough. I think that's something else I've come to realize. It's not about being good enough. I mean, you can't be good enough. I think before all this happened, I had a little bit more of a legalistic view of things. And now it's all about redemption. I mean, God thinks of us like we think of our kids. This is the way I perceive things. You love your kids unconditionally, and you want to have a deep, meaningful relationship with your children. But when they do things that are, defiant or things that aren't in their best interest, you want to help them to not do those things. And it's difficult to have that close relationship with your kids when they're doing the defiant things and things that aren't in their best interest. So you want to have that close relationship. But even when they do those things, you still love them the same. I mean, you're not going to deny your love for your children because they do something wrong. I mean, you love them and you want to help them every day. And I feel like that's the relationship that we have with God as well, And through this experience and through this trust, God has stretched my faith. He has stretched who I am as an individual and how I perceive others. I feel like I have a much deeper connection with other people now. I mean, the empathy and compassion that I felt from friends and family and coworkers has been it's been amazing. It's touched my soul. It has made me recognize people in a deeper level. And for that, I'm truly blessed. That's been a real blessing for me as well. My job, my company that I work for is just an amazing company, Tamco Building Products. They manufacture roofing primarily. It's a large national privately held company. They have stood behind me and basically said, we're going to continue to pay you for 13 weeks of medical leave, and your job's waiting for you when you come back. So there's been a real blessing there. They've allowed me to keep my company car and just really stood behind me. And in this day and age, I think that's pretty profound. So I feel truly blessed from a job perspective and anxious to kind of get back into the mix and go back to work. Let's see. My personal relationship with God, I've already mentioned, and how that has just really stabilized, and I feel like I'm much closer to God than I used to be or in the past, although I felt like I was very close in the past as well. I mentioned earlier that my fiance Gail has come to find Jesus through this, And that has been an amazing experience too, because I've been a single guy for about 8 years now and very involved with my children, trying to raise them to, know God and love God and make the right choices. And for 8 years, I've been single, and I've been looking for the capable wife, which is referred to in Proverbs 31. I've been praying for the capable wife, and I feel truly that I've found her now. I mean, she is a huge blessing for me. And let's see. And Gail and I spend every day, we try to sit down at some point during the day, generally in the mornings. We get up early, and we try to sit down and go over, I've got a devotional called Streams in the Desert, which is just an amazing devotional. And for a couple weeks there, I'm telling you, Gail even said, she's like, God is getting and moving the words around to make this exactly fit our situation. And we would read these devotions together, and we'd read the Bible together. And it's just amazing how when you read the Bible and read the Word, and you feel like God just totally connects with you. And for her to recognize that, it was an amazing experience, because she was able to come to understand how God truly works daily in our lives. And I mean, we'd read these devotionals, and I could hardly get through them. I mean, I'd start crying because they were just so dead on to exactly what we were going through, and trusting God and knowing that He was making this happen. And that was probably the thing that really called Gail, because I don't believe it's up to us to convince people that they need to understand God. We are to live as a testament, and we are to, exhibit the fruits of the Spirit, the peace, the joy, the contentment, the wisdom. We're to exhibit those things. And people they want that. So they crave those things, but God has to call them to Him. It's not our job to force them to Him. God calls them, and we exhibit those symptoms. And I think I alluded earlier to the fact that the people that are coming to me, friends, peers, work associates, they don't know how to react. They're kind of caught off guard by the fact that I've got this illness and this condition, and they're expecting me to be upset and angry, and I'm at peace, and they're questioning, how is it that I'm at peace through this experience? And I think deep down they're thinking to themselves, if they were in the same situation, could they be at peace as well? And I think the answer is generally no. I mean, if I wasn't a saved person, I can tell you I'd be upset. And I mean, if I didn't know where I was going, I would be scared, and should be, because eternal separation from God is not a place you want to be. And so I think it's really given me an opportunity to share my perspective and the fruits of the Spirit with others, even in this crazy situation that I never have had in the past. Because generally people, oh, just another Christian guy, and oh, I've heard that all before. But when they can actually see the joy and the peace that I can exhibit even in these trials, I think that has been a very powerful testimony. And it's enabled me to share with, a lot of different people. And I think I've affected a lot of people in that way. And just, I hope, I don't know how God's going to use it, but I feel pretty good about things. So I feel like everything is going really well. I mean, I feel great. And I've basically, Gail's got 3 kids, I've got 3 kids, so we've got the Brady Bunch thing going now, and on for a week, off for a week, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, I'm a family man. I love doing things with the kids, and all of us hanging out and going places and traveling and going camping and hiking and biking and all the different things. So I'm really excited about that. That's a true blessing, having all the kids and being a strong family unit together.